Alright, so while I was editing, I realized I forgot to tell you what exactly I was doing. So I'm going to explain that real quick. Okay. So, what you saw yesterday was this. You saw me taking the top of the fender, but today, what you are seeing is... So what you're seeing is me take the inside mold here. So I'm taking this so that I can put that into here, and then I'm going to have to resin it onto this. Once this is all cut and trimmed, you'll see what I'm saying. I'll explain that later. But okay, now enjoy. So I'm gonna start this off doing the same process I did yesterday, which is I'm taking a nice thin coat of resin, and you're just gonna see me run it along the whole piece that I'm working on. This is gonna make it easier so when I go to stick down the fiberglass that it stays in the spot that I'm trying to place it in, and I don't have to worry about it moving around or, you know, falling off or anything like that. So it just makes the process a lot easier. What you're seeing me do here is just cut it into a nice thin strip so that it has an easier time molding. You want to make it so that as little air bubbles get in as possible. That's why you're going to constantly see me tap it down with the resin brush, because I want this to be as perfect of a fit as I can make it, because again, since I'm overlapping over the fender, this is going to now be a hair bigger than the actual size. So that's why later on I'm going to go back in and flip over the fender and then start doing all the resin and do a couple layers of the fiberglass on the inside to build up all the strength. So the easiest way that I found to do this is to put down a nice heavy thick coat of resin. Let it just seep into all the fibers. You want to make sure nothing's getting missed with this, because this is important. This is where all these different pieces of fiberglass are going to start to stick to itself and make sure it's molding in as one. So you want to make sure that you're going nice and heavy. So just for the sake of the molding, I wanted to make sure I have enough layers of fiberglass that later on, once everything dries up, that it's going to be able to come out of the molding as one. I don't want it to flex too much because I don't want to risk cracking it. So you're going to see me do a lot of double up layers, but in doing this, because I'm doing a direct copy over the fender, everything is now going to be a little bit bigger than the fender. So you got to be careful on what areas you do this in, because you don't want to have your project finish up and then find out that everything is just way too tight with fitment, like to the hood and to the door. So you got to make sure that you're doing it in the right areas so that you know you're not going to hit anything and you're going to meet all your clearances.
If you're not agree, you can walk away. You can walk away. You can walk
Alright, so let me fill you in now. So this is now the afternoon. I had started this in the morning, or tried to start it in the morning. I didn't have the brushes that I needed. So I went out, got some brushes. This is now going to get attached to the main piece. I'm going to cut this down to size. So let's see if I can show you. If you look close, there is a nice edge. You can see it now where it's glowing. So this is the nice edge. I'm going to cut this on here, and on the front, I'm going to cut this line right here. And then take this piece. It's going to have a seam right here. I'm going to cut it on that, and then I'm going to butt it up to itself. I'm going to butt it up to itself, and then flip it, and then take more fiberglass, and then I'm going to attach it. So that's how that's going to go. On all the joints in here where it gets bolted down, I overdid it and did a lot of pieces because I want to make sure that this does not come flying off if I'm on a highway or going through a back road a little quick. That's the last thing that I want from this. So I want to make sure everything is structurally supported. So I'm going to go a little crazy on that. Already though, this Fender is so heavy. That piece right there weighs maybe 2 pounds. So for weight wise, not bad. But now I gotta wait for this to cure, and then I will come back to you. Alright, now that everything is dried and hardened up, I'm gonna take a pencil and just kind of line over here just to give myself an extra little scoring mark so that when I go to cut it, I know exactly where the marking is. And I'm gonna do the same for the bottom. Alright, so now that we got this part done, what you saw before was me outline everything. So this is my marking line. So once I trim down the fender and trim everything along this line, and up top trim everything along here, now I'll just be able to take this, flip it, and then start putting that on the inside over here. I don't know exactly how much of this I'm going to be able to remake, so I might have to just kind of make my own style bracket that can fit onto right here where it gets bolted down to. But we're going to try. We're going to see how it works. I'm going to start cutting this and try and shaping everything out, and we'll see how it goes.
Everything that brought me alive. Oh, we're all like monsters, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no outlet. It's a roller slide without an outlet.
Doing that by hand is so painful. Never again. The saws that I'm using, if you plan on doing this, don't use that saw. You really need a grinder for this. But this is the final product. So everything is cut now. The last part that I gotta do is trim it. So all these little edges like this over here, they just need to get sanded down. So this is now the lip for the fender. So this is going to sit like so. So you see how all this, as of right now, is lining up properly. The hood isn't closed. I'm just going to close it just to show you. So now see how this lines up properly. So I got to trim right here down a little more because I made a double lip from the inside. But this just follows that perfect, which is what you want to see. Now the fender, which yes, still needs to get cut, is going to sit right alongside it. I'm going to do something to allow it to stick to this so that it hardens until I can take it off all as one piece, and then I'm going to flip it this way so that this is going to then sit like so. It's going to sit like that, and then I'm going to be able to refiberglass all this on the inside so that it's supported and strong. Oh, that God, but that's sharp. I'm so tired of getting the fiberglass in my finger. That hurts. The gloves, it just goes right through my gloves. But anyway, that's going to be all for today's video. I'm happy with the way that came out so far. I'm going to be able to trim the fender once I get a proper saw that I can use to cut that. And then we can start taking some of that down and really getting everything finalized and cut and trimmed properly like is needed. But that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.